Well, Chris Popper here in Bangor. I'm joined by Coach Mark Shields down in Bar Harbor. Coach, congratulations. A great win to open up the season on Friday night.
Yeah, thanks, Chris. We knew coming in, we talked about it last week, that Mountain Valley, they were going to be a tough opponent right out of the gates. A lot of tradition down there, a lot of gold balls in their trophy cases, and just tough kids, hard-nosed kids. And they were. I mean, they came out, and we knew right from the start that it was going to be a real physical game. I did feel good right from the first series that we were able to, to play with them, especially defensively. We were able to stop them. I think they got a first down, and then we held them the second time, their second try for a first down. So, we thought, okay, we're definitely physical enough to play with this team and athletic enough. And it was a great game. It was back and forth. There was some momentum changes and along the way, and fortunately we were able to hang on and get the victory, and that was a big one for us for sure.
How'd you come out of the game injury wise? I didn't see anything that looked too bad.
Yeah, once again, we're knocking on wood here. It's we were healthy after the game. I mean, your typical ooey and owies, but nothing severe. And all the kids were back we had a JV game in Lincoln on Monday.
Yeah.
So all the kids went up there and they actually won that. That was great. Our JV team did a nice job. I was told mid 80s in Lincoln Monday around 4 o'clock. So that was from my JV coaches, Nick Grant and Chris James. So they got the W up there, and then on Tuesday, everybody was back at practice and ready to go.
So, I mean, obviously, we talk about the heat. You had Monday for the JVs, Tuesday, Wednesday. I mean, temperatures in the high 80s. How do you adapt to that with still trying to get all the work done that you need to in preparation for Gray-New Gloucester on Friday?
Yeah, it's been a hot week for sure, temperature-wise. Tuesday was brutal. We had a full practice, but we took numerous water breaks. We put the guys in the shade numerous times. We were smart about it, and the kids, they did a great job. We were upfront and honest. We told them, you need to be honest with us if you're not feeling well. We had a couple guys that by the end had to sit out for a little bit, but they were fine, later after practice. And then yesterday was warm too. Not quite as warm, it didn't seem. I don't know if less humidity or not, but yesterday was better. But those are, work days for us, Tuesday and Wednesday, and we went about our business and we got everything in that we wanted to get in. And the kids were great. They fought through it and they were troopers. And so it really helped us prepare for tonight, Thursday night's practice.
For anyone who doesn't realize, I mean, those helmets are just heat suffocating. I mean, when you wear those helmets and in practice like you do, I mean, it just traps all the heat.
Yeah, and we, obviously when the guys are getting water breaks and in the shade, they took their helmets off, and at the end of practice, we circle up and stretch, and we had to take the helmets off. And there were some comments from the guys, "Oh gosh, that feels good."
Right.
That helmet off. So you're right. I mean, those things are super hot. They contain the heat, and so we did try to get allow them to take those off as much as possible, which did help.
Everybody wants to wear their helmets in the winter, so that way they stay warm. But yeah, right. What do we know about Gray-New Gloucester? I mean, they played very competitively last year. Was the first time I think that MDI played them down there, and if I remember, it was a high-scoring, competitive game.
So, and I know your age, Chris. You forget these things. You're probably thinking about.
I'm lucky. I had to look up the fact that you played Gray-New Gloucester last year, but I remember the trip. So.
Yeah, you probably are thinking of Lake Region.
Maybe.
We played
Okay.
we played Gray-New Gloucester here.
Oh, what the heck do I know? I mean, was it even in football, right?
I know. Hey, I mean, these things happen at our age. So yes, Gray-New Gloucester came to us last year. It was a It was a tough game. We ended up pulling out the win late in the game. And most of those kids are back for them. So their roster's right about 30 kids like ours. They have this one guy, number 87, and we called him Mini Gronk, like Gronkowski.
I remember. Okay, that I do remember.
Yep. Well, we thought he was a senior last year until we started looking at tape the other day and like, he's back? Really? So
I hate when they don't graduate on time, right?
yeah, right. So he's a handful. So they line him up in numerous spots. They'll put him on the offensive line. They'll split him out. They put him in the backfield. Defensively, they have him up front, trying to bull rush you. And so he's going to be a handful Friday night for us to try to contain him. And then they have a lot of quick kids. Their quarterback, number 11, super fast. Their halfback, 42, super fast. 14's a great receiver. He's fast. Number 3, he's fast. So they have all these kids that are just super quick and fast. And, the thing is, if they get a half a step past us, it's going to be trouble from our defensive line. So we're going to have to try to contain these kids. And, I told the kids last night defensively, I said, there's a good chance we're going to give up some big plays from here, from time to time. But we have to do our best to contain them and try to, stop what they want to do. And they throw the ball quite a bit. And so they have some guys that can run with the ball, and then they have a nice, their quarterback throws a nice ball, and they have some kids that can catch the ball. So they're going to be a handful. They're a really good team. They played Brunswick last weekend. Brunswick ended up beating them. Now Brunswick is new to 8-man, and that's a big school, Brunswick, right?
Right.
They've been playing Class A football forever, and now they're an 8-man. So they were a tough opponent, and Gray-New Gloucester, they hung with them all night long. So we're expecting a tough game Friday night.
I thought the special teams played very well. Did very well with the 2-point conversions and just kickoff returns and the both receiving and kicking off. I thought did very well.
Yeah, I thought we did.
Oh, excuse me. And then of course the fake punt that I just remembered.
Yes, yeah, and that was huge at the time. I give kudos to Mark Arnold, my offensive coordinator. He, as a head coach, I'm the one who determines whether they're going to punt or go for it on 4th down. I said punt, and we were at maybe like midfield, the 50, the 45, and he suggested let's run our fake punt and see what happens. And once we lined up in it, we were like, oh, these kids are going to be wide open. So that was a great call on his part. We did give up a kickoff return, of course. That's the Achilles heel of Coach Shields' teams, it seems like. So that's something we need to, get better at. And we worked hard at it this week, and we'll work, hard at it tonight for practice and, run your lanes and break down and tackle. And they had us, number 3 he's as good as anybody we're going to see this year for Valley. He was tough. They didn't have him back there early on in the game, but when they needed, a score or a good field position, all of a sudden he was back there on kickoff return, and sure enough, we had guys in position, but he's strong, and we didn't wrap up and tackle him, and he busted it for a touchdown. So yeah, lots of room for improvement. Very pleased with the victory, and we hope we play well Friday night against Gray-New Gloucester.
It was a very smart game in that there weren't a lot of penalties. Everybody was aware of the snap count. Everybody, those silly penalties that add yardage when the going gets tough. You didn't commit any of those penalties. Maybe 1 or 2 penalties the entire game.
Yeah, great point, Chris. Those are drive killers, right? Those holding calls, false starts, any of that stuff against really tough teams. It's hard to get 10 yards to get a first down. And you're right. We didn't have many penalties. We put the ball on the ground once. I think I don't know if it was a snap problem or Spencer had trouble getting the snap. Anyway, they ended up getting the ball. But you're right. We talk about it all the time, but penalties, turnovers, special teams, those are 3 big things that will determine a football game. And for the most part, I thought we won those battles. So yeah, that was big for us.
I thought that the crowd was great. I looked over, it seemed like a late arriving crowd because of course the game started at 6, but the next thing I knew, I looked over and the student section was full. No band last week. Hopefully they might be there tomorrow. We're taping this on Thursday. But I mean, I could hear the band I'm sorry, the student section cheering. And when they did the Boogaloo, I heard that all the way over in the press box clear across the field. So shout out to the students and the fans there because they were loud and proud.
Yeah, I heard it was awesome. It's funny when a game's going on, I'm just so focused on what's going on in the field, I don't even notice. But my wife was there, Holly, and she was like, "Yeah, the student section was great." And of course, Jay Haney, right, principal's son, he was leading the cheers, and
Good
I
for
guess
Jay.
on his green whatever suit that he wears, they had him in the stands, and he was doing some surfing until his dad came over. I guess and said, "Okay, enough of that. We don't need to get Jay."
I hate when the principal comes up and talks to you and says, "Son, that's enough."
Yeah, you probably have to stop. So, but yeah, it was. I did notice it once we had actually won the game, and
Right.
I wasn't so focused on the field, and I could hear the crowd, and also after, I meet with the kids after the game, and then they head off the field, and there was, they were waiting for them to run off, and it was really nice. It was super loud and exciting, and I've been told that the band is supposed to be there Friday night against Gray. I've been told that the cook shack's ready to go. So, and I get it. The first week, I mean, we just started school, so it wasn't a lot of
Right.
time to prepare for these things. So, but I've been told that those two things will be up and running, and that will make it even better.
And let's give a shout out to the cheerleaders. I mean, they had their signs up there, and that squad is nice and deep this fall as well.
Yeah, that's awesome. I know we have some better numbers this year, and the coaches are doing a great job.
So again, this Friday night, tomorrow night's game is at 6 o'clock. And that's, it was nice to get home early. I mean, there's no question about that. But it I thought that you didn't have any impact with the sun or anything like that, probably because the setting sun isn't just the way the field is situated. It's not in anybody's eyes, I don't think, or at least it wasn't in mine. And let's face it, that's really what was important.
Right. I mean, we're trying to accommodate you the best that we can, Chris.
Yes,
We
thank
want
you. I
you to be
appreciate
comfortable
that.
up there. Um,
Thank you. The air conditioning
so-
can be installed for tomorrow night's game. That'll be fine too.
Yeah, it sounds like it might be overcast tomorrow night, so that'll
Yeah,
be good. That will protect us. But yeah, no, the kids when they heard 6 o'clock, some were like, "Well, coach, it won't even be nighttime. It doesn't feel."
right.
But I think once you start playing football, you don't even think about that stuff. And sure enough, by halftime, it was dark, and by the time we ended the game, it felt like Friday Night Lights. So yeah, I honestly I love it. I mean, trying to get off the field earlier, to get home earlier. I mean, already looking at tape that night, so it
Right.
just gives me a little extra time to do more.
Well, and for anyone who doesn't realize how dark it gets, I was the last one on the field. Bunky had already turned off all the stadium lights, and I'm trying to drive out. And it's like, holy, thank God I've driven up there and know my way around a little bit because it is some kind of dark when the lights are off.
Gets kind of eerie out there,
Oh,
honestly, Chris.
yeah, it does.
Uh,
Oh, yeah, it does.
I don't know. I don't think there are any Bigfoot running around up there, but but honestly, you and I probably look better in the dark. But you know what I'm saying?
Oh, I know, I know. There is that green swamp monster that, I think is lives in the runoff water. That, yeah, he's not good.
Could be Jay Haney. I'm not sure.
Could be. I don't know. Dad probably brought him home. All right, what do you want to say to all the fans here as you get ready for school? And it'd be great to have another huge crowd before coming back um, against Waterville in 2 weeks.
Yeah, right. The Purple Panthers. Yeah, if we can get as many people out there as possible, I think once again it's going to be a great game to watch. One thing we're learning about eight-man football is it's an exciting game. It really is. It's a little more wide open and maybe some more scoring and the ball's in the air a little bit more, and so it's fun to watch. And obviously our guys, they feel it. The more fans we have in the stands and the band playing and the excitement. They feed off that energy. So yeah, if you can come out once again, kickoff is at 6 p.m. I think you'd see a great game.
All right, the game will be broadcast on. Well, we'll start. just a little bit on air on WDEA. But if you want to listen to the game, you can go to WDEA.am, download our free app as well as any Alexa-enabled device, and of course, it'll be live streamed as well on the MDI High School YouTube page. Coach, congratulations, big win. Hey, listen, do we know where the Mark Shields victory bell is?
I don't know. Sometimes I wonder if it's in bottom one of those cess ponds out back, but I think it's tucked in a storage shed somewhere and just collecting dust, probably where it should stay.
All right. Well, maybe towards the end of the season, we might be able to rummage around and find it.
Yeah, we'll see.
All right. Coach, have a good day. We'll see you tomorrow night down the field.
All right, thanks, Chris.